Luno, the fastest, easiest way to buy Bitcoin. If you're just getting into crypto, it's the perfect place to start. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Layah Heilpern show, powered by Icon Plus Capital, the VC firm. And as usual, it is sponsored by BlockFi. So you can actually get pretty amazing interest rates when you go to BlockFi, much better than leaving your money in a bank. I think across Europe, we have negative interest rates right now. So I've left a link in the description, and I think if you're watching on Twitter, it's in the comments area. So just hit that and then you can check it out. Also, guys, if you are watching on YouTube, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss any of these brilliant guests. All right, so today we are just going to go through it. We're talking about the market, also talking about entrepreneurship and building in this space. So joining me today is the co-founder and CEO of Stacked Crypto. It is Bitcoin Birch. Joel, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you. I'm doing well, thank you. It's been a while since we spoke.
Yeah, I had Stacked. I think at the time it was called Lunar. It was pre-alpha. We didn't even have a product out yet, and I think that was the last time we caught up. So it's been a long year or so since then. But man, crypto.
I know.
We were right. We were right.
I know. And we spoke about earlier and you were saying everyone is starting to get rewarded. But before we get into crypto and everything, all the nitty gritty bits, for those that don't know who you are, I know a lot of people do, but for those that don't, please just give us your background and tell me what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I imagine most people don't know who I am. But before crypto, I worked a lot in traditional startups inside that ecosystem. I always really was obsessed with using technology to solve problems. I found myself early stage at Grubhub and spent a lot of years just learning how to scale a tech business by working in leadership, leading restaurant growth at Grubhub. So at Grubhub and working in that startup environment, I came across Bitcoin early on and was in 2015 was kind of captivated. And I like to say the rest is history. I quit my job in January of 2018. So for those of us who were around back then, you remember that was the Pico top. Absolute best time to walk away from a nice, perfectly well-paying job. Spent the next 18 months losing all of my money and a lot of my hair, but continuing to try to find ways to solve problems. And ultimately, I've been a long-time investor and enthusiast in this space. I've had my ups and downs with trying to trade this market, but all in all, I'm a full-blown degenerate crypto enthusiast. I love JPEGs, I love Bitcoin, I love shitcoins, I love, can I say that? I don't know, altcoins.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
I love, the ups and downs. I love to mess around, and have fun with leverage when I can. And I like to be a long-term passive hodler. I'm a little bit of everything. And I've been operating as CEO of Stacked now for the last 18 months or so.
So you said that in 2015 you were captivated. What got you?
Well, the same thing that I think gets most people. I'm not going to sit here and try to BS about it. I wanted to play blackjack online, and there was this particular site that I won't give free airtime to, but they're still in operation today, and they accepted crypto. And I knew what Bitcoin was. I just didn't care about it. And so I bought Bitcoin in order to basically play blackjack on this website. It was 3 or 4 months later that the market started to turn around. I basically bought the bottom. I mean, I bought Bitcoin like $200 in September 2015. So now all of a sudden I see this crap that is just sitting in my gambling account go up in value. What captivated me? Well, number go up captivated me. Make money captivated me, right? Like, wow, wait a second. What is this? Is this some new? And then down the rabbit hole I go. I obviously got educated on it as a technology, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So what always gets me is people going full time, right? Because most people in this space, it's not actually their full-time job.
Right.
But I know a lot of people want it to be, and people are always asking me, how do you go full time? How did you do it? So that must have been really difficult, leaving a nice, comfortable job. I know obviously number go up makes you feel like it's okay, you can leave it.
Keep going up.
Yeah, but you left your full-time job as the bear market set in, and people don't really know where we are right now in this market. So talk to me about leaving that full-time job. How did you even know where to go?
Yeah. So I'm kind of a lifetime entrepreneur. I've always been fiddling around with technology and trying to find ways to, make money on the internet. I was drop shipping in 2006 on eBay when I was a senior in high school. So that was a long time ago, right? And so I've always been just more interested in products and tech, and like the idea of like a lot of people using something that I built than I have been in, money. And so for me, once I got to a place where I realized that no matter what happened with crypto from a price perspective, I was going to have 12 months of my bills paid. I was comfortable enough to take that risk on myself because I've always been an entrepreneur. So I've always been doing that sort of stuff. I mean, just to get the opportunity at Grubhub at the young age that I did and move across the country, there was a whole story there. So I
Yeah.
think I'm good at taking risks. I think if you're a trader, if your idea is I'm going to quit my job to trade cryptocurrency, then I would
Don't do
refer to
it.
my good friends Don Alt or Crypto Cred, some of those guys who have addressed exactly that. And what they'll say is, listen, if you've been trading successfully with a track record in a journal, able to manage risk, you have 12 months of reserves put away, and you have a year worth of actual trading underneath your belt, and you feel like you could take the next step. I'm not, good luck. I wish you the best, but it is a loser's game for the most part. It's one that Pareto's principle definitely applies, and the majority of people, 80% or so, will lose money if they attempt to time the market. So if you're trying to be a trader, probably don't quit your job unless you've done what I just said. If you're trying to build, if you're an operator, if you're a content creator, then the opportunities are endless in this space. Take a risk on yourself. Go work for a crypto company, get paid in shit coins, and hope they go up. I mean, there's so much opportunity. I know you can attest to this. If you just DM somebody, if you just
Yeah.
meet someone at a conference, you just hop on a Google chat. You and I met via DM a long time ago. You've met countless thousands of people since then just by networking. And that has opened up, no doubt, countless doors. So if you really love the space, maybe go get a job in the space. There's plenty of companies hiring, including Stacked. Free plug. We are
Love
hiring as
it.
well.
Good. We'll get into all of it. But yeah, I think that's such a good point. People just think that they can go in, trade, they lose it all, and then they never come back. But yeah, there are so many job opportunities in this space. I think DMing people is absolutely the best thing to do. I feel so done with emails. I don't know if it's you, but whenever I get an email which is an essay, I'm just like, no,
I'm
please.
over it. Yeah.
Yeah,
We're,
literally.
we're the
Go on,
generation of
sorry.
the instant message, Telegram, Discord, Slack, text, WhatsApp. That's how I like to communicate as well. Just IM me, instant message me. Let's get going. Let's move on.
And you know what that means? That means don't send an essay like email in a DM.
Mhm. No, it's not
It literally
necessary.
gets
Just
me.
say, hey, Birch, this is what I need. And then I'll either ignore you, respond with something that I need, or out of the goodness of my heart, help you out. Depends who you are. But
Yeah.
shoot the DM over, right?
No, I love it. Right. So Stacked are hiring. That's cool. So tell us about
Yeah.
Stacked for those that don't know.
Well, yeah, I would love to. Stacked Crypto on Twitter. Stacked is the world's largest SEC registered automated investment advisor in crypto. Um, Essentially, we are a platform that allows you to put your portfolio on autopilot. It sits on top of your existing exchange. You connect your Coinbase, your FTX US, your Binance account to Stacked. And it's a much more beautiful and easy to use interface to manage your assets, swap, lend coins on FTX with auto compounding, run trading strategies from some of your favorite Twitter traders that are out there that have bots, all that sort of stuff. And recently we secured registration with the SEC. So we're working on some new products there. That's yet to be announced, but we're working on some new stuff there as well. So yeah, automation platform for investing in crypto.
So are there any exchanges right now, let's say like Binance or FTX like that provide that automated service?
No, and ultimately, it's not their business. That's fine. We're so new into crypto that it's just inevitability before more, companies like mine are trying to come in and service the 90%. We talked about Pareto's principle like 47 seconds ago and about how most traders lose money. That's kind of the thesis behind Stacked, is that you shouldn't have to be a day trader in order to be profitable long term in the crypto space. So we're looking to build tools and user experiences that better help users adjust their portfolios to their risk. So that way they can have a better user experience when investing, and they can be more long term passive investors. I think you can probably attest to this. The secret to success financially in crypto for most people is survival. It's not catching tops and bottoms. It's not, like if you catch one, great, but it's not chasing and FOMOing. It's having high conviction plays that you hold for extended periods of time. Maybe with some intelligent dollar cost averaging or rebalancing, like there's different things that you can do to be more active. But if there's no doubt that hodling over extended period of time historically has been the best method. So not trading has historically been the best method. We just wanted to build a product that helps you not trade better, right? Like hodl better. And that's what Stacked is kind of about. So it's not a trader's platform. It's not for you to go into all kind. There's already great platforms for that. FTX is my favorite. But if you're looking for just a kind of a cool investment experience in crypto, Stacks.
So from like a practical and personal level, because I don't trade. If I was to use Stacked, how would I go about it? What value would it offer for me?
Yeah. So again, I like to explain it like this, right? Let's say you hold money on Coinbase, and let's say you hold currently 10 assets, and let's say you decide that you would like to move half of all of your money into Bitcoin, or you name it, Tether, Ripple, whatever you're into. If you're like some kind of weirdo and you're into Ripple, if you wanted to do that today, obviously you would have to log into Coinbase, go through that, go into each individual market, for each one of those assets, sell a percentage of each one of those things. And that process can take upwards of several minutes per coin if you're super efficient, but it's also tedious and it's also inefficient. And it's not a very, I don't know, informative user experience. Well, if your Coinbase account is connected to Stacked, you can just log in and move the slider for Bitcoin to 50%, and Stacked will automatically sell whichever assets you tell it not to, unless you like lock an asset and say, don't sell this one. It'll rebalance your portfolio into 50% Bitcoin. It takes 10 seconds. It executes automatically on Coinbase. Your money is still safe in your coin, wherever you're holding it. And it just makes the user experience better. So at the very top, it's just a better way to move money around. It gets more granular from there, like buying pre-built portfolios, like our Sam Bankman-Fried basket, which is the most popular one on our website. People connect their FTX account and they invest in the Sam Bankman-Fried basket. We all love Sam. And the basket is simply an equal weighted basket of Sushi, Serum, FTT, and Solana, which are his four, kind of pillar projects. And it rebalances automatically every 30 days. It's up. I can't say like from a compliance standpoint, because I don't know the exact number, but it's up a lot over the last 6 and 12 months. And so I think a lot of users just like the ability to buy a portfolio that's already kind of built for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, cool. I'm going to check this out. I love things which are just simple, easy, and you can just explain it to me in the most basic way. Like, I'm not techie. And to be honest, I think that's a good thing. I don't want to be techie. That way, hopefully I can like put the message forward over to other people. We can actually improve the user experience, make things happen. But we're going to delve into all of this. Guys, remember, Joel is hiring. So drop him a DM. No essays, but drop him a quick DM. So he's hiring. So that's cool.
Pretty much every position you can imagine. Engineering,
damn, that's
blockchain,
exciting.
marketing, whatever.
Okay, cool. That's cool. All right. Before we delve further into that, I do want to talk to you about the markets because things are looking very, very interesting right now. Bitcoin's at $62,000, which I think is great. After that high, I think that's that is just holding that and not dropping down to 55 or anything like that is really exciting. But I'd love to get your thoughts. Well, let's start off with understanding. Were you surprised to see a new high?
No. Going back to the timing tops and bottoms, it's not my MO. I was fortunate to sell around May a large portion of my holdings into stables, and I was fortunate to buy a couple months later, just from market cycles. But it wasn't tops and bottoms; it was just market cycle kind of sentiment. Honestly, Cobain, who I love on Twitter and as a friend, he kind of called it perfectly, and just kind of listening to him and some of the other people we've mentioned, honestly, it was just like back in May, I was feeling very top-like. Now, as a result, I missed some of the stuff that happened since then. I was not very exposed to the market, and there was a lot of upside, in particular on the NFT space. So I kind of slept on some of that and kind of, I'm not claiming to be some kind of prolific JPEG trader. But yeah, that's been like ultimately my experience. But the reason I started buying back in is because I said, we're for sure retesting. What I'll tell you right now is, and I've been saying this for like the last month, because as being Bitcoin Birch, obviously my in real life friends and they always want to talk about crypto. I have no freaking idea. I don't know if it's 100K. I don't know if it's 250K. I don't know if it's a million. I don't know where. I just know, like, my conviction is that what you see when you look at the Bitcoin chart right now is not what tops look like. That's just my conviction. I survived the last top. I've done enough, I've been exposed to enough of the market, enough of other markets, I think, to at least have a high enough conviction play for myself that this is not what tops look like. And so I'm not selling here personally. If I'm wrong and things start to look really bad, maybe I'll change my mind. I'll go on Stacked. I'll move that tether slider up to 80%, and just start auto lending it on FTX through Stacked in the next bear market. But yeah, my price prediction is it's going to keep going up. So above here. And so, I continue to like Bitcoin.
What do you think caused this pump? Forget like TA and tops and bottoms. What do you think caused it? Because also just, the crash as well. I remember I put out like an Instagram story back in April, and I was just like, I'm so sorry to tell you guys, but I'm just not bullish anymore. I was like, this feels like a top. But of course you had the China news, Elon Musk, and that kind of just really tanked the market. So what do you think pumped it this time?
Yeah, well, sometimes nothing has to pump it. It's just sentiment overall. I think you're going to continue to see correlation to the US equities markets, which rebounded in much the same way, and have followed. They're relatively correlated, at least lately. At least Bitcoin is, which the rest of the crypto market is then also fairly correlated, as we know, to Bitcoin. So I think a lot of it is just maybe overall market sentiment being positive right now. And ultimately the ETF obviously doesn't hurt, right? The Bitcoin ETF is huge news. Now, those of us who are in the know understand that it's kind of I think the word I saw before is a toxic product. It's not a great product, but besides the point,
it is a toxic product.
Yeah, it's not a great product, but besides the point, it is a great media headline, right? And that media headline does bring people in who want to buy. And I think on top of that, maybe more than anything, Bitcoin has really solidified itself as this, like, at least the narrative to Bitcoin is store value, internet gold. Well, people don't buy gold with the intention of selling it the next day. So what I think you're starting to see is the mindset of people buying Bitcoin at the retail level is more of, I'm just going to hold this. I'm just going to hold, which is good, by the way, because I think that's going to be a profitable endeavor for them. So I think you're just seeing more market participation. That's the technical answer. Why does Bitcoin go up? Well, more people were buying than selling. That's why Bitcoin went up. And so why were more people buying? Maybe ETF, maybe it's because it was down 40%. Maybe it's overall market sentiment, maybe a combination of all of those things.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I think that the narrative around Bitcoin matters. And despite the crash that we had, it was the most bullish bear market. You have a country adopting Bitcoin, you have senators, speaking about it. But even Twitter and Strike, that is huge. Just so much going on. So yeah, the sentiment is,
and the NFT,
yeah.
NFTs, I actually think have a flow over effect to the overall crypto market too. Like, obviously there's no Bitcoin NFTs. I shouldn't say that. I'm probably gonna get hung for them. I'm sure there's gonna be comment guys like, there are Bitcoin NFTs.
They're coming. I think they're coming. Yeah, everything's on Ethereum right now. So
everything's on Ethereum or Solana, where I'm really enjoying NFTs lately, is on Solana's protocol. Love my cavemen and my apes. But all that to say, the NFT craze of the last, especially a couple months, but really the last year, has been really driving a lot of participants into crypto. Right? It's almost been that mainstream event, like the iPhone was, or really the iPod was, but the iPhone was to the internet, is what kind of brought NFTs are kind of starting to get a lot of people more interested. And that's just a red pill. It's just opening the door to more market participants. So I do think there's some flow over from the huge success of NFTs and that market. I think naturally there's got to be spillover into, well, now that I own this JPEG, like, what's this doggy coin? Maybe I buy some Bitcoin. And so I think that can be healthy too.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that for some unknown reason, NFTs have gone so mainstream. I still don't know why they have. You have the likes of Gary V talking about it. We've got in England, like really mainstream chat shows, which I just don't watch because I find them very cringy. But even, the producers on there are talking about it. So why do you think they've gone so mainstream? And also, do you think that they're here to stay?
Well, and non-fungible tokens, yes, there's countless use
Mm,
cases for non-fungible tokens, whether it be concert tickets or pieces of art, validation for physical piece, basically act as a certificate of authenticity for physical pieces of anything, um, and the list goes on. Obviously, what we're seeing right now in the overall JPEG market is bubbly. It's got, it's bubbly. And I'm not any type of NFT incumbent. So, I have like 80 JPEGs in my MetaMask and,
that's a lot of
another 50
JPEGs.
in I have a lot of JPEGs because I'm a degenerate and I love crypto. So if anything new comes, here you go. Take my money, like let me play
How
with
are
it,
you
right? So
picking? How are you picking? You're
what
not
I
just
think
throwing
looks
money.
cool, I think it's important to understand too that all the money I've put into JPEGs is money that I'm just like, goodbye. Like this, I'm
Okay.
not flipping. I'm not, I haven't dropped six figures on an ape or anything yet because I'm just not, I don't care enough. I just want to buy stuff that I think looks cool. So I have JPEGs of lots of random art and just random PFP profile pictures, stuff like that. But I think that a big reason where you see a lot of the price action is because if you think about it, it's a very fragmented market. It's a very, 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 very low supply market. I think OpenSea has like 400,000 users. Maybe I'm completely pulling that number out of my ass, but
I don't know.
let's say they have 400,000 users.
You can look
If
it
you
up.
take the total supply of the top 10 NFT projects on OpenSea and add them all together, there's not even enough total NFTs to satisfy 25% of their active user base across their top 10 projects. So
Well,
the
just check this
the
out. Sorry,
yeah,
just to jump in. OpenSea logs more than 100,000 users a week.
new ones.
No, I think just users a week. It just says here,
Oh,
um,
that's their okay. That's a lot of people. It's
that's a lot of
400,000 people a
people.
month. That's 400,000. That's the number. So that's a lot of people. There's not enough NFT. Like there's enough NFTs, but there's not enough of these like premier, 5 and
Yeah.
6 and 7 figure NFTs to go around. And then when you add the fact that the people who have the money to spend 100 ETH on an NFT have the money to spend 100 ETH on a lot of NFTs probably. And so a lot of the supply is held by, you'll see a project with 8,000 pieces that has 1,000 unique owners. That's 8 pieces to every one owner. And so I think it's a supply thing too. I mean, it's the most brilliant, like supply and demand experiment at scale because of this, because social media set it all on fire. Gary Vee, like you mentioned, Logan Paul, like whoever, right? And they're fun, man. Like,
They
I
are
don't know.
fun,
I
aren't
think some
they?
of them are kind of fun. If you're into it, I think it's kind of fun. Like I've had a lot of fun playing in the space, but be careful. Like I'm going to lose all of my money that's in NFTs right now. Like just so you all know, you probably will too. So just buy it for the art.
It's addictive though, because I'm not actually somebody that's into art at all, but I'm really into these NFTs. So I've never bought an NFT, but I've got a lot of
Really?
friends in the space. Yeah, I've got a lot of friends in the space, and so they'll just like give me an NFT, and then we'll just like I watch the price just go up and people bidding, and I'm just like, I don't want to sell, even though I didn't
Yeah.
even pay anything for it. I don't want to sell because I don't know
You grow an
something about
attachment
it.
to your penguins and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
you do, don't you?
Especially if you mint it yourself, there's this
Oh
user
yeah.
experience. There's this gamification that exists in minting NFTs. Gamification is hugely successful in UX, like in user experience design for mobile apps. If you think about Robinhood, a company that's done it really well, BlockFi actually does a really good job. Blockfolio does a good, this gamification is what addicts people. Like I think there's more people addicted to Call of Duty than there probably are any hard drug on earth. It's a very addicting thing. And so this gamification of crypto with NFTs makes something that's already got a financial incentive and i.e. can definitely motivate you in certain ways to be more fun, or at least feeling more fun. It releases dopamine in a way that keeps you kind of coming back. So who knows where it'll all end up. I think there's a lot more value creation coming up. And, to that note, OpenSea with 400,000 users as the number one NFT marketplace, that's an irrelevant number. There are no name one-off exchanges in like random islands that have 400,000 users. So, in the crypto space. So it's such a small number. When that number is 5 million, 10 million, and they're still a fairly small company from a user standpoint, that supply and demand issue really starts to compound, and now you start seeing price, just crazy numbers potentially. So
And in terms of the market right now, so we have, NFTs booming, we've got Bitcoin doing something, new highs and all this fun stuff. Do you think alts are going to follow?
Yeah, I mean, they all. I don't have any reason to believe that the future won't look pretty much like the past. It kind of has always. I'm mostly exposed to Bitcoin right now. I have been for a little while because I do feel like it is kind of Bitcoin's turn again. It's about that time of year. It's kind of Bitcoin's time of year
Yes.
also. This is about when Bitcoin likes to do Bitcoin things. I
Yeah,
bought my very first Bitcoin ever in the month of September. I'll never forget
that's
August of
good.
2017 and so forth. Like Bitcoin loves this time of year. So yeah, I'm going to hodl Bitcoin for the most part and make a couple of other plays. Um, and then I think alts will follow, and I hope it's not in like a blow off top manner. I'd really like to not see 80% drawdown across the market again. I'd like to see maybe a little bit more healthy, sustainable growth. I just don't know if we're there yet, but I definitely think alts will follow 100%. They always do.
I'm so excited for this because so today people on Twitter were talking about we need a name for somebody who thinks Bitcoin is the best form of money, the ultimate cryptocurrency, yet you don't think that everything else is a scam. So that's me, but we don't have a name for ourselves yet. So
Okay.
we're not Bitcoin maximalists, we're not shitcoiners, but we're, but yeah, I think it's exciting because I know it's really funny. I was like, should it be, I don't know, freedom maximalist? That doesn't work. But yeah, it's exciting because usually I was at one point I was only holding Bitcoin, whereas now I'm a lot more diversified and I have a nice amount that I'm happy with. But now I've got quite a few, and even I've got some really, really shit coins. So I'm really excited. So I'm really hoping.
That's the best place to be, is with lots of
Yeah,
Bitcoin and a couple of really shitty shit coins. I mean, I
that's what
think
I'm
that's the
thinking.
best market exposure that you can have. I don't fault you for that. We all have our favorite, but that's the kind of a part of crypto that I love. Like we all have our favorite community bags too. We all have our,
Yeah.
that one project that caught our eye and we went for it and it didn't really go that great from a price action perspective, but here we
Oh,
are, you
sorry,
know.
I just removed you from the stream by accident.
Oh, well, I didn't say
Yeah, no, no,
anything.
it was just me.
I
No,
was
no,
just
no.
agreeing with you.
No, we can still hear you. It was just my picture.
Okay, great.
Okay, so right, I want to go into entrepreneurship now, because for those who are just tuning in now, Joel is the CEO and the co-founder of Stacked, which is very exciting. Yeah, that's why I turned my camera off. One sec. Let me just hit that again. That's what I was trying to do. There we go. So, right, Joel is the co-founder and CEO of Stacked. They're hiring, so drop him a DM. So let's go into this. You left your job, you went full time into crypto. Super exciting. So, how did you decide that you wanted to build a business rather than be a trader or content creator? I know that you said that you were doing a lot of drop shipping and stuff anyway, but talk me through, just deciding, yeah, I know I'm an entrepreneur, because a lot of people don't know whether whether they can do it. And you spoke about self-belief. So talk me through that.
I think if you're really, first of all, I think anything can be taught. So I think if you're not inherently entrepreneurial, I think you can learn it. And I think you can be a successful entrepreneur. There's plenty of examples of that with people with the right mentorship, the right support system, the right financial backing, whatever the case may be. You can do that. For me, like it was never a matter of if I think I can do it or not. It was just like I'm going to do it. At the end of the day, my attitude and the attitude of a lot of the successful entrepreneurs that I know, has always been, it doesn't really matter if I succeed. That's not really the point. Like the
Mm-hmm.
point is to do what I feel drawn to do, with this business, like with this idea. And all entrepreneurs have different businesses and everything else. I was creating content because I enjoyed talking about crypto. So when I quit my job, I got a lot of followers on Twitter at the time and started making friends with a lot of these other names that and that was great. And I really enjoyed sharing my opinion about stuff. Who doesn't? And I don't know. I enjoyed having a lot of viewership. But when I really reflected, I said, do you want to be an influencer or do you want to be an entrepreneur? And in
Mm-hmm.
2020, 2021, and in the last couple of years, it's become really sexy to be an influencer and entrepreneur. And there's like some weird name for it, probably like
Is there
influencerpreneur or something. We should make one up, maybe talking about making up names.
influpreneur?
Yeah, something like, but it's basically people who say they're entrepreneurs because they have a merch website or whatever the case may be, but they're not like building businesses. What I find is if you're building, and there's different types of businesses, so there's people who can do both. But what I found, at least for my business, is in building my business, which now has 40 employees and we've scaled to a certain, I don't have time to be an influencer. Like I don't have time to go on. I haven't really tweeted in weeks. If you go look, like I haven't been particularly active on Twitter because it's not important to me to be an influencer. It's important to me to be an entrepreneur. So that had to come first. So, it wasn't like a decision, like, do I stop trying to be an influencer? It was just, I was always an entrepreneur. I happened to be talking a lot of shop about crypto, mostly during the bear market. And there was just a couple of us, talking about, but I always wanted to go and do this thing. And so I went out and did it. And like, that's what I encourage other people. Like, if you're wondering whether you're an entrepreneur or not, maybe you're not, you're probably not. That doesn't mean you can't go learn. Doesn't mean you can't go work for an entrepreneur and see if you like it, dip your toe in. And that's what I did with Grubhub. I left my stable life to go take a chance on a tiny startup, to get involved with a VC funded company backed by, smart people, to get experience. And I spent a half a decade there. And that was invaluable to being more of a successful tech entrepreneur now. So
I think that it's interesting how, because you're working and you're building this business and you have 40 employees, you don't have time anymore to tweet and things like that. I find that really interesting because I've been working with a lot of different CEOs to try help build them and things like that, and it's annoying because it's actually part of being a CEO. You need to be an influencer. Like, you need to have that power behind you. Yeah, because that's one thing which I think CZ, for example, and Binance have really nailed. Because he's obviously not an influencer, but he has influence, and he's tweeting all the time. And so I'm always saying to people, I know that you're building and this and that, but you have to keep tweeting. And Elon Musk is an example.
Yeah,
he's an influencer. Yeah, he's an influencer and an entrepreneur.
No doubt. And but when he's also Elon Musk, right? And so it's not that he doesn't make time for being an influencer. He just tweets whatever the hell comes to his mind. He's a billionaire and a billion people follow him because he's Elon Musk, right? Like if CZ, CZ is one of the richest people on earth too. It's a little bit of a different game. At my scale, at least to put out any content that so on the one hand, if I really just said my mind all the time, I'd piss off half the people, right? That's how opinions work. Like, well, as someone who's trying to get everyone to use my product and like love the whole experience, I don't want to piss off half the audience. And so I can't just go out and be, I can't go out and be like political. I can't really be controversial. I can't necessarily chime in on hot topics because I'm not trying to create enemies, because again, business comes first. And, I want everyone to have a favorable view of Stacked. And so that means they have to have a favorable view of the guy who started Stacked. So that's a part of it. So then if I'm going to put out content that I actually care about, that takes time. And right now, I don't value the time enough to do it because the ROI isn't enough to do it. So I definitely agree with you. I think there's so much opportunity there. And I might have to hit you up afterwards about getting my time better sorted out, so that way I can take advantage of the platform that I've built. But for me, at least in the early stages, if you are someone thinking, going back to your first question about being an entrepreneur, it is really about having conviction. It's really about being able to put your head down and say the outcome does not matter. If you get too caught up in, will I sell my company for $1 billion or will I go bankrupt? It starts to cloud all. You just have to put yourself in a position to where the finances are sorted, because that's something that I think if you're not financially healthy, it's gonna be really hard. And then just go for it.
You make such an interesting point about the politics and things that you can and cannot say. Because it's such an issue that I think a lot of entrepreneurs are trying to find that balance. I think, if you're an influencer, let's say it's like a spectrum, and you're an influencer here. I should make my hands a bit closer. You're an influencer here and you're an entrepreneur here. The closer you are to influencer, the more you're actually able to, and I think it benefits you to say these opinions.
Piss people off. It's divisive. Yes. It works for politics, right?
But it's interesting because right now I think that politics is creeping into every single part of everything that we do, right? Even like identity politics, gender, and this and that. Coinbase had that whole issue. I can't really remember what it was, but they had a whole supposed racism issue. I don't really know. So I don't know, like how do you deal with that? Do you really try and stay away from it, or do you feel you might at some point get to a point where you have to sort of like take a stand on anything?
Yeah. So listen, like when you turn anything into a business, it kind of ruins some of the fun. Like I don't love crypto the way I used to love. I still love crypto, but it's a different kind of love. I'm a very like I look at this, it's a business. Like, and it's so it's not the free. It used to just be me, lever BitMEX 10x, it's different now,
Yeah.
and so that's true too. If you try to become like, if you're creating content like I was for fun and just talking shit about crypto got a bunch of people to follow me, and then I tried to turn it into a business because I had to do that to pay the bill. Like you're in this position as an influencer. If you go full time, I'm saying, if you like, this is what I'm going to do, well, you got to make money. Well, to make money, you kind of got to sell out. You either got to sell ads, you got to sell ref, you got to, whatever. So nothing like crazy, no like crazy ICO scams or anything, but taking, shilling a referral link or what. And what it came down to is, for me, like, I just hated all of it. I was like, this is all
Yeah.
stupid. I don't think any of the, like, I don't want you to use my ref link to trade on BitMEX because like, that's not,
Yeah, you'll
it's
lose
just
money.
disingenuous. It just wasn't for me personally.
Yeah.
Right. And also keep in mind, I'm not an anonymous Twitter person.
Yeah.
And some of the biggest names that you see ruffle the most feathers and get the most hyperbole really, going on, are people who are hiding behind the veil of a cartoon account, which is fine. And I actually am very close friends with a lot of them and totally understand why they are
Of
not doxxed.
course.
And I totally support their decision to not be doxxed. But as a result, they don't suffer the same personal consequences for their opinions, like I will as a public-facing CEO of a well-backed tech business. Like I just can't play the same politics. So I think if you're going to do it, you just got to be genuine. And so for me not tweeting for a week is genuine sometimes. And then you'll see sometimes, if you follow me, like I'll go off for days. Like I'll tweet 100 times a day for a week, and then I'll
That's
disappear
good.
for a month. That's just me. That's just genuine. That's just, right now I care, and tomorrow maybe I don't care. And today I love your NFT, and tomorrow I don't probably care about it. That's just me being me. So you just got to be yourself, I think. I mean, you just can't go out there and like try to, I don't know, fake it. Like you'll get ripped apart.
Oh,
People get it,
absolutely. Yeah, especially on crypto Twitter. It's toxic.
and we know
Nothing.
who we're talking about. There's fakers and there's LARPs, right? There's like people we know, and the community knows. And sometimes I wonder if the LARP themselves knows that we all know, because sometimes they tweet like they're acting like we don't know. Like, we know. Like, we know.
It's true. It's true. And you really do get ripped apart. So, integrity is essential. But in terms of just building this business, because I'm sure there are a lot of people listening thinking, I don't want to be an influencer. I want to build something that people can actually use. What are some of the biggest challenges that you came across, and also challenges that you didn't expect?
Well, I'm building a tech product. So the challenges were largely people, like talent specific, like finding the talent to build a tech product. And then obviously, solving the problems in tech. And I'm not natively tech. I'm a self-taught front-end web developer. I don't know anything about pretty much anything. So the challenges are, I'm not a finance guy and I'm not a tech guy, and I'm going to build a finance tech company. That's
Cool.
a challenge in and of itself. So how do you solve for that? You surround yourself with people who are just gigabrains. So Sam Bankman-Fried, the earliest supporter of Stacked. We were the earliest supporters of him and Alameda and FTX, and we built a good relationship with that whole team as a result, and that's been invaluable. The same goes for like countless other connections that we have in crypto. The entire breadth of our success is due to our friends on Twitter, people who have like shared our product, our investors like Sam and Jump Cap, other like really, really great investors, and big announcement coming soon on that front. And just a great network, hiring people. Like I am just good at like bringing people together. I'm pretty much crappy at every individual thing. And so if you understand that as an entrepreneur, like where your strengths are, and you plug in people in your weaknesses, then you have a real shot at doing something. But it's, it is kind of a team effort. Like you're going to have to reach out very likely and start building that network if you want to have a real shot at like, building something. It's a huge challenge.
That's so spot on, surrounding yourself with good people that you can add value to and they can add value to you. It's a good give and take relationship is so important, but it's actually really hard. I know for me, I find it, I took like a huge dive into crypto and lost honestly a lot of friends because they didn't get it. It's a whole new mindset. And so it's very difficult to surround yourself with not just like-minded people, but, intelligent people and that it just works with. So even hiring people is hard. So,
Yep.
how do you go about finding good quality people?
Yeah. So this, I don't know how this will come off to the audience, but like, yeah, it is hard. Like that's why most people won't succeed at what you're doing or at what I'm doing, because it is super hard and it takes a long time. Like think about all the hard work you put in to get to 150,000 followers on Twitter and crypto, mostly during a bear market. That's hard. Like, and so I want to make sure that no one listening is going to be mistaken for the fact that there may be an easy way to get rich trading, to get rich being an entrepreneur, a content creator, an influencer, or whatever. It's just first and foremost, understand if you're listening to this because you have inspiration to be full-time in crypto or an entrepreneur, understand first and foremost, it is freaking hard. And it will test you in ways that I cannot begin to make apparent to you. How do you get over it? When you mentioned hiring in particular, try really hard. Ask people, go email, DM, phone call, Google, YouTube, find recruiters. In my case, I went to my board, who are, again, people who I surround myself who have business experience. Hey, give me some great recruiting companies. I don't have any recruiters in-house and I need to hire rock stars. That's what they did. They introduced me to recruiting companies. You write the check, they send the candidates, and then you figure it out, And so it depends on what stage you're at. But I think embracing the fact that it's super hard and that there isn't maybe just one way to go about solving for that is part of being an entrepreneur. Like I can't give you the roadmap because it's so different for everybody. All I can tell you is it's going to be really hard and you'll probably fail. And if you still go for it after hearing and fully understanding that, you're probably going to make it. Because that alone, saying like, hey, it's really hard, you're probably going to fail, that weeds most people out. They're like, yeah, you're right. I probably see myself out. So I don't know. You gotta want it in some kind of way, or you gotta be super lucky. Like, do not get me wrong. There are people out there who have just, in spite of them, have just fallen into absolute, gold mines of businesses, and that's great. God bless them.
Yeah. But is there anything that you would do differently, or any mistakes that you've made that haven't added value in the long term?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I tend to be like, ask Alan or Steven or any of my guys on my team. Like, I tend to be pretty like I'll get an idea and it's like, let's do it and let's start like moving towards it before it maybe is fully flushed out. And then it's like, maybe. And so I tend to move maybe too quickly. That's definitely a weakness. Sometimes it can be a strength, definitely, but it sometimes is a weakness. But there's tons of things I would do differently. Like in hindsight, we've made bad hires. We've made we've made some really good decisions, I think, on like the investment side of our business. But yeah, you make some bad hires, you make some poor product choices, you go with the wrong vendor, countless stuff, that I would ultimately do differently. I never did a token for Stacked.
I think that's a good thing. No. I think it's a good thing.
In hindsight, I wouldn't do that differently back then. But now that I didn't do it back then and I have the resources to maybe do it correctly now, it's something that I maybe will explore. So I don't know. If it can drive real value to users and be compliant, then definitely something we'll explore. But I don't think I regret not doing a token either, even though it would have surely put tens of millions of dollars in the pockets of like all the early people here. But yeah, I mean,
well, my thing with tokens, I was going to say, like, my thing with tokens is I often find there's a lot of companies that often have a token for the sake of having a token just to keep you in the ecosystem. Right. That really annoys me though. Like, as a user, that doesn't really add any value to me.
That's like 95% of tokens. They have a token just to have a token.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm glad you don't have a token.
Yeah, no, it's a crowdsourcing mechanism. That's what I'm getting at. Is like, if I were to do it, I'd do it right. Like if it's a funding mechanism, I'm gonna let you know, like, this is a funding mechanism. I'm not gonna try to hide it behind the veil of some, BS white paper that's gonna say it's gonna do this, that, or the other. Yeah, there's very few examples of tokens that are not tokens just to be tokens. And so I totally agree. That's why we haven't done it, because that just wasn't part of our mission. And keep in mind too, we're a US based, like, regulated, we're trying to build a very specific product for a very specific user. So when we look up, we're inspired by BlockFi, by M1 Finance, by Coinbase, none of whom have tokens.
Exactly.
So for me and for this business today, that's where we're at. But like I said, because of the product we're building and the ecosystem we're building in, especially on the decentralized version of Stack that we're working on, there may very well be a real utility for a token, and we'll be excited to explore that.
Yeah, as long as there's real utility and real value for the customer. Well,
could you imagine like a decentralized Stacked, right? Stacked is a great product. You still have to connect to your centralized exchange in order to use it, right? And but we would love for you to also be able to connect your MetaMask wallet and hold,
Yeah.
or your ledger, right? And actually hold your keys and still be able to take advantage of those tools. Well, in doing so, we'd have to build some type of, blockchain solution. And in doing that, there may be, again,
Yeah.
a real need for a token. So stay tuned. Stay
Stay
tuned.
tuned. All right. So just finally, what advice would you give to people looking to go full time, looking to potentially build? You've given a lot of advice, but just one sort of main overall to end the conversation.
Surround yourself with good people. Like I said, find a partner, maybe not even one that's a friend. When me and my business partner went into business together, we weren't friends. We weren't like not friends. We were just we had just met. We were just like acquaintances
Probably
that
for
had
the
similar
best.
interests. Yeah. Well, we've become brothers, right? Like we've
Right.
become very close. But so, find people who are speaking your same language that can help your mission, and have conviction. You have to really believe it in your core and be like moving towards, something that's inspiring to you. For us, it's reinventing really the way that, retail investors interact with long-term crypto investments, active indexing, tax loss harvesting, like really bringing traditional finance tools to crypto because it's needed. That drives me. It's something I'm passionate about. So you should do that, and then you'll probably be fine. If you go out and try to start a business with the sole purpose of making money, in my experience, it can be harder to make money. If you go out with the purpose of solving a problem, in my experience, if you solve that problem, the money will follow because people are willing to pay for the solution. But if you have money driving your motivation, it will cloud how you go about the solution, because you may decide the solution requires X, Y, or Z that maybe it really doesn't. And so just, again, try to be like really clear in your mission and your purpose and what you're working towards, and go into it with that mindset, and fail forward, fail fast and fail forward. If you screw it up, drop it. If it's wrong,
That's a
if
tweet.
you
You
hire
should
the
tweet
wrong
that.
person, yeah, maybe I will.
You should tweet that. You should do that once we get off. You should tweet. What did you just say? No,
Yeah,
before that, you're like something fast, and then fail forward.
Fail fast and fail forward. Yeah,
yeah. Tweet that once we get off.
Yeah,
Okay.
you want to fail fast. You want to fail forward. That is my advice.
There you go.
Have conviction.
It's good.
Yeah, and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
it's not that big of a deal.
Even for those who aren't necessarily building a business like you did, but are just trying to go on their own, whatever it is, having that conviction and also putting value before money is so important. And then I guess I'll just add this bit at the end here. It's also knowing when to say no. And understanding that actually it's okay to turn down money if it doesn't add to the final goal. So you have to know, okay, what is my goal? What is my vision? If it doesn't add to that, turn down the money. Otherwise, it's a waste of time and it won't sit right with you and your integrity,
With us, pre-revenue, pre-user, pre-money, bootstrap, bear market, Bitcoin $3,000, we had someone offer to buy half our company for 7 figures, invest 7 figures for half the business at a time where we needed it desperately at the absolute worst part of crypto history. It didn't align, at a higher level with our vision. And we turned that money down. And I, as a result, didn't pay myself, and neither did my founder, for another 6 months. And in hindsight, that decision saved me literally tens of millions of dollars. So, I think you're 100% right. Know when to say no, like know when to, again, have that conviction and understand what your mission is. And that's really the best you can hope. Like, and at the end of the day, I've started saying this more recently, but I'm very guilty as an entrepreneur of over indexing myself and like working too hard and taking it way too seriously and putting an 80-hour week and like just going crazy. I'm obsessive compulsive. And a lot of entrepreneurs are the same way, but I have to remind myself sometimes. A colleague of mine, someone who works for me, said this the other day. He was like, hey, it's just a job. Like at the end of the day, Stacked, it's just my job. It's an important job that is, has all this story and has all this, risk reward, but it's just a job. Like at the end of the day, I got my wife, I got my family, I got my friend. And like, so when you tackle this full-time thing, whether it's content creator, entrepreneur, whatever, just remember, like at the end of the day, like try not to take it too seriously, like still live it's just a job. You know what I mean?
It's true. Yeah, it's true. Where can people find you and how can they get involved in Stacked?
Well, we'd love for you to check out Stacked. We're launching aggressively in the US. We've only recently started supporting Coinbase and FTX. So more and more products coming there. But especially if you're a normal FTX or a Bybit user, Stacked is huge for you. You can go to trystacked.com and you can just follow me at Bitcoin Birch on all platforms if you want. I don't talk as much as I used to,
Follow.
but I know you're going to get me back into it. So we'll rock and roll.
I will do. Guys, go follow Joel on Twitter. And yeah, Joel, thank you so much for coming on. It's been so interesting. I love to talk entrepreneurship, business, because it's, everybody wants to achieve more. A lot of people want to achieve more. And it's very difficult sometimes to have these conversations with people in your immediate vicinity. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience with us.
Anytime. Thanks for having me as always.
And guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe on YouTube so you never miss a video. I will see you next week. All right. Bye-bye.